Hi, this is a review of the order trading system activity for December the 2nd, 2021. We had 8 trades on that day. All 8 trades were buys. First trade was AAPL. That's Apple. Tripped at 11:30 a.m. at a price of 162. It closed today at 163.76. Down 0.61% and down 0.58%, but it still technically is above the tripping price, so that still is a positive. And we'll check. Volume came up, a little bit of a drop at the end of the day volume-wise. MACD came up and during the end of the day was dropping. DI, same thing, came up and then the day was dropping. Other came up. So technically the same thing. The stock was moving positive until the end of the day. Next trade is BLNK. Blink charging. Tripped at 11:30.39 at a price of 36.75. It closed today at 36.33, up 1.65%, and is down 0.29%. So almost lost everything it made yesterday. Well, at least showing that way. So let's see, 11:30. Let's go around here. Not too much. So around 12:22, it started coming up again. Yeah. 12:22, 12:26. This is not enough time, and it never came back up again. Okay. It did peak just after the tripping, but it did stay up. So let's see what the indicators are showing. Volume came up, stabilized. MACD came up, stabilized, somewhat stayed positive. Most part, not great. DI came up. Just a little bit of a downward trend at the end of the day closing, but pretty much positive for most of the day. Bollinger Bands sure came up and steadily increased. Bollinger Band really is indicating the stock in general was moving in a positive direction. The other indicators are somewhat semi-positive, so I'm going to call it a possible just because, well, really Bollinger Bands actually pretty much clarified that stock is a possible. Next trade is BX, and that is Blackstone. Tripped at 11:30.48 a.m. at a price of 140.31. It closed the day at 141.24, up 2.61% and down 0.64% here early morning. Looks like it came up and just stayed at that, so it looks like it might have hit a ceiling. The good thing is here, tripped around here, 140.68, 140. You can see most of the day, from all afternoon, I guess you could say, the stock was positive, and it just happened to be, at the end of the day, it just happened to drop down below its tripping price. Even though, strangely enough, here, okay. For some reason, I thought it was below the tripping price. You can see it closed above the tripping price. You can see here, it actually did come down at the end of the day, but it was still above its tripping price. So all afternoon the stock was positive. So that's another positive. So that's another positive. So let's have a look, see at the indicators. Strange, because I thought I was past the second one. Okay, anyways, 30.48. Okay, this is the one here. Volume came up, didn't maintain. The volume actually came down in the afternoon. MACD came up, averages came down in the afternoon. DI came up, same thing, bouncing back and forth. At the end of the day, it actually showed negative, and Bollinger Band came up, and it basically moved sideways. So interestingly enough, this stock actually, for practically the whole afternoon was moving sideways, so basically neutral, but it did stay above its tripping price in the afternoon. Next trade is CLF. Cleveland Cliff. Tripped at 11:40:16 a.m. at a price of 20.47. It closed the day at 20.13, up 0.234%. It was up 1.19%. So it does look like it is moving positive. 11:40. So from roughly 11:40 to 12:18, 20, we're talking over 30 minutes of time during this jump here where it peaked up, which makes that a positive because it was a good amount of time to at least get out of this stock. Check the indicators. Volume not too drastic. It did come back, recover a little bit in the mid-afternoon. MACD came up and stabilized. DI actually is very questionable. It came up a little bit here when it tripped, and actually it was actually more negative in the afternoon than positive. The Bollinger Band same day came up, and then the afternoon came down. So the stock, it did trip, but the afternoon period it was moving negative, which again everything is showing that. So the stock technically ended the day moved negative. The next trade is CFX. Colfax Corporation tripped at 12:20:41 p.m. at a price of $46. Close day at 45.98, up 2.63%. And let's see, 12:40. So roughly around that area. So they did peak up, but you can see it didn't come up above. Here at 1:48, it started coming up again. Stayed up. 46.22, 46. Then it dropped. Even then, it's still. So from round 148 to 3:52, we're talking almost 2 hours there. Well, 148 to at least an hour of time where it was above its tripping price for a good period of time. So that definitely was a stock that had a positive opportunity. Indicators, volume, came up. Volume stayed stable somewhat, but didn't move it showing up. MACD came up, moved sideways. DI came up, bouncing back and forth. End of the day was down. Bollinger Band same thing came up, moved sideways, a little bit downwards. That stock was somewhat neutral. End of the day close was a little bit negative. Next trade is HBI. That's Hans Brands Incorporated. Tripped at 1:55:35 p.m. at a price of $16.56. Closed today at 16.44, up 2.11%, down 0.06% early morning here. 155. Tripped right around here. It hit its ceiling. It hit its ceiling and wasn't able to get above it. Obviously, that's why it's called a ceiling. Volume looks okay. It was moving up to roughly right around when it tripped, and then started moving down. MACD did come up, and then averages came down. DI came up, down. Bollinger Band came up and down. Afternoon period is showing a negative trend, and the stock was a positive tripping stock. So indicators actually not showing what I want to see. So I got to call it a negative because the indicators are just not showing. It's just not showing that the stock finished or was moving in a positive direction in the afternoon period. Next trade is GSAT. That's Global Star. Incorporated, tripped at 2:10:47 p.m. at a price of 141. It closed the day at 140, up 6.06%. And let's see, 210. Yeah. Tripped right around here and then came down. Yeah, so again, it hit another ceiling, and that is not so great. Volume looks okay, it was somewhat moving positive in the daytime. MACD came up, dropped off, but stabilized after mid to late afternoon. DI positive, somewhat negative in the mid-afternoon. It looks like the end of the day it was moving positive again. Bollinger Band came up, showing more sideways movement. You see, end of the day, a bit of a rise there. The indicators are showing somewhat of a positive movement. Not strong, but still somewhat of a positive movement. I'm going to say it's a possible just because of it. Next trade is MRNA. And that is Moderna Incorporated, tripped at 2:17:14 p.m. at a price of 329 cents. Closed the day at 301.49 cents, down 2.94%, but it's up 2.49%, so pretty much made its loss from yesterday. So early morning here, it's moving in the 309. I thought I was saying 301. Okay, so 310. So it's actually moving positive again morning. So anyways, this stock definitely is positive. So we'll see it's 5. Okay, and just take a look at the indicator for it. Should be going to indicators. Just have a stop on that. So volumes look good. Volume looked like it fairly much a steady incline. MACD came up and then dropped off again. As I tell people, that's somewhat average, somewhat normal for averages, is that they seem to be jumping up and down. So you'll see that W movement with averages. It appears, at least from my experience, that just go through the process of showing these guys. You can see MACD, it jumps, drops, up, down, up, down, up, down. So DI, see, it came up, and then the day closing was moving negative. Bollinger Band came up, and then the day showed. So stock was somewhat showed that it was moving in a negative direction at close, but it stayed above its tripping price, which is a positive result. So that's what it is. So it's 5 out of 8 stocks. So that's 63%, and 7 out of 6 stocks possible. So 6 out of 7 out of 8 stocks, which is 87%. So 63 positive, 87.5% possible. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.